Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with another layout. This is using some of the page kits that I made back in April. I do have a playlist where I make all the page kits, and now I'm going to be adding all the pages, all the videos for those page kits. So basically I went to a weekend crop. I brought 30 page kits with me. I ended up making 21 pages in that weekend. So I have 9 page kits left, which I'm going to be using in my craft room. But I thought that I would share each and every single page that I made at the crop. So this is the third layout I completed at the crop, and it had a ton of scraps. So a lot of the layers that I'm going to be using on this layout will be scraps, and I love that. Even the cardstock that I used to mat my photos was like a little bit over 6-inch by 12-inch of cardstock, and I matted my photos and I was going to cut around it, and then there was a piece of die cut that said that's another story, and I decided to put it right next to the photo, and then that way it was going to give me a spot, a spot for die cuts, and then right above it I thought it'd be a great spot to put some of my journaling. So a lot of times when I'm working with kits like this, what is in the kit kind of decides how my layout is going to go. Just by going to mat the photos, then because it was 12 inches, I thought, hey, let's leave it like that, use the die cut, and then it kind of determined where my journaling is going to go. Then I had another piece of scrap that it was kind of cut at the bottom, cut that down. I made it about 9 inches. I cut it in half, put some at the top and the bottom of the photo. Then I thought it'd be fun to cut some strips. Whenever I have a piece like this on the layout, so this is like 6 by 12, I like to either cut down little pieces of pattern papers, or I like to use some washi tape. And in this case, I did cut down 2 pieces of pattern papers that were 1 by 12, but I found that it blended too much with the other pattern paper that was there. So you'll see I'll eventually just kind of take that out and I'll figure out something else. Then I wanted to add some more pattern papers in here because it was a bunch of scraps, and I thought it'd be nice to use up a little bit more scraps. So I took it in the size that it was. I think it was like 5 or 6 inches, and again I cut a few inches and put some at the top and the bottom of the other pattern papers. So it just looks like it's like a gradation of sizes, and I really like that. And this is where I decide, what? I have this dark wood grain washi tape that I had put on a little piece of recipe card, and it worked out well with this layout. So I'm going to just take a strip of that washi tape, and that's what I'm going to put as sort of my strip that's going to say, hey, this is where this layer ends. And of course I kind of decided that after the photo was down. So now I'm just putting down the washi tape, and then I'm going to take the cardstock, and I only have to lift it a little bit and then just stick the washi tape underneath. I was trying to figure how to put it down before, but then there's a lot of figuring out to do. And then I realized that I had not glued down that other pattern paper, so I had to rip everything up anyway. So I did that, then I glued everything down. Then I start playing with the embellishments that I had in this page kit. I did take some distress ink in a dark brown, and I'm going to ink the edges of all the pattern papers and all the embellishments. And this is one of the reasons why I love making page kits so much, because going to a crop, it makes it so that I really don't have to think of anything else. I just open that page kit, I start rifling through what pattern papers I have, and kind of decide, if there's scraps, then the page kind of comes together by itself, because I try to use the scraps in the sizes that they're in. And then once that's done, then I just start looking through the embellishments and start dividing them into embellishment clusters. And I usually start my embellishment clusters with what I call my embellishment foundations. And usually they can be tags, circles, some kind of sticker, die cut, and they have sort of a specific shape. And usually it's a circle, a square, a rectangle, or a tag. And then I look at the other embellishments and I start layering them over top that embellishment foundation. Okay, I've slowed this down. You have to see this in slow-mo. So you see I took a little pin and I did try to open it up, and here it happens. I put it on slow-mo. The bottle exploded. I guess the look on my face was so funny, and it just exploded everywhere. Well, you can see it there on the photo, on my die cuts. My friend France, who's in the picture, she came over and we took some wet ones, and thankfully, my other friend Marsha was sitting across from me, and I was kind of sitting sideways because it went right to her side. It was right down her lamp, like it was everywhere. It just exploded, and so we did laugh quite a bit for quite a few minutes with that. It did kind of put a shiny spot on that piece of pattern paper, and I'm like, you know what, I was going to do my journaling directly on that because it was kind of a tone-on-tone pattern paper, but because it was quite noticeable, I decided to go get a piece of Project Life card, and then I'm just going to put it over top and I'll do my journaling on that. But I had to leave that in there so that you could actually see it blowing apart and how much glue came out of that bottle. Like, oh my goodness. And my hand was covered. There was just glue everywhere. And then I didn't notice, and at one point I noticed that there was like little bubbles of glue on my photos, but that's okay. It's a glue that dries clear anyway, so it's not a big deal. And it worked out great, using the Project Life card. I did all my journaling before I went to the crops. So even though, we were laughing our heads off at this point because it was funny, I was able to just transfer my journaling from my recipe cards to my journaling card. And how I did that was I assigned a number to each of the page kits. And then when I did my journaling, I assigned the same number to my journaling card. My journaling cards, I kept them all together, in a group. And then I just put a clip over top of that. And then I could just go through the recipe cards and kind of use them, find page 8 or page 3. And the journaling was all right there. And that was one thing that I changed in the last couple of years, that I do put journaling in my page kits when I go to a crop, because then, I don't have to concentrate. I can just transfer the journaling over. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about this photo. This is the photo of the ship when we just got on the cruise, and a picture of my roommate on the ship and myself. And a couple weeks before we went on the cruise, she sent me a Facebook message or a messenger message. And she said, oh, are you getting any, Wi-Fi package on the cruise? And, there was a few of us on that messenger group. And I said, I'm off the grid. I'm going off the grid. I'm not getting any kind of Wi-Fi, texting, anything like that. When we get to ports, I don't mind paying, because every port that you go to, whether if it was international, it was $11 a day, and if it was a US island, then it was $7 a day. I said, I don't mind doing that a couple of times so I can check in with my family, but the rest of the time I'm off the grid. I want to enjoy the boat. I want to enjoy my vacation. So a few of us did that. We went off the grid. We didn't get any kind of Wi-Fi packages, and it was kind of nice to kind of, relax the brain and not, worry about checking emails and checking Facebook and all that stuff. So the title for this page is going to be Off the Grid. And I use some basic grade tiny alphas in white, and I got a few packages in white because then I could just use ink and just change the colors of the white alphas and make it fit for whatever color of layout that I'm doing. Just knowing what I know now and that you can't get those anymore, I probably would have bought more than 5 because I use these size of alphas all the time on my layouts, and in white really works because you can just change the colors. So if I ever find tiny alphas like that in white, I'm probably going to buy a whole bunch so that I don't run out, because I do use them all the time. And just a little side note, if you notice at the beginning of the video, my nails were dark brown, and now it doesn't even look like I have nail polish. I have this temperature nail polish, so whenever I have a hot flash, they turn like to cream, and then when I'm frozen, they are brown. And I do have a link in the Amazon link if you'd like to have some of this nail polish. It is one that you have to cure with a UV or LED light, but it's pretty cool nail polish. I really like it. And that's it. That's going to complete this layout. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.